And thank you very much for joining us. Avoiding commuter pain, averting the more commuter pain. It's a very fundamental question. If you're in Ghana, you would have noticed what happened today. Really unprecedented. But the commercial drivers decided to park their cars and left many people stranded. And as a result of which, we've had a situation, if you look at the pictures, of total chaos. In some places, some of the drivers were actually physically stopping their colleagues from picking passengers. In the northern region, people were arrested because they were not only parking their car, but they were blocking the roads. But as we go into tomorrow, we're looking at how do you avert more commuter pain. Let's go to that very shortly, because a few things we know has been at the heart of the controversy today, which we've seen. And the 16 transport unions came together for this action today. So again, a bit unprecedented in terms of the unity that we saw. It includes the biggest of them, GPLTU, embarked on this nationwide strike today. Now, they are asking for a fundamental issue, which is a number of taxes that they want scrapped. The energy sector recovery levy, the sanitation and pollution levy, the energy debt recovery levy, road fund levy, special petroleum levy. They want all this scrapped. That was their initial position on the matter way before the budget was read. And those are their demands. Has that changed? We'll get into that very shortly. Now, the 5 levies are charged per letter, right? And so if you look at the breakdown in terms of how much you're paying because of these 5 levies, it's quite substantial. If you're looking at per letter, so energy sector recovery levy alone is 20 pesos. You're paying that. You're paying sanitation pollution levy of 10 pesos. You're paying energy debt recovery levy of 49 pesos. You're paying road fund levy of 48 pesos. You're paying special petroleum levy of 40 or 46 pesos. You're putting all this together, cumulatively adding to the almost 7 cedis that you're paying per letter at the pumps, right? And if you break it down, the scrapping of the 5 levies will amount to some significant savings for you and the transport and the private transport operators. Because if you look at the description of the levies and you look at the price per liter that you have, current pump price is 680, right? It had been reduced a bit because it went closer to 7 cedis and came back down to 6 cedis, 80 pesos a liter. The total charge on the 5 liters of all, if you look at all the accumulated taxes, comes to 1 cedi, 73 pesos on this, right? And so if you take the 5 that the transport operators are asking for, the union, the 16 of them, if you take it out, it leaves you with 5 cedis, 7 pesos. That's what you'll be paying instead of 6 cedis, 80 pesos. So that's quite a significant amount of savings there. Because if you're doing cumulative, you're doing 1 liter per liter, but we're doing, drivers are buying a lot of fuel a day, right? So that begins to do the maths. You begin to see how much of a difference this 1 cedi, 73 pesos will make to them. Now, if you look at the percentage decrease, and this begins to, it helps you appreciate why they are asking for the scrapping. 25.44% is how much the fuel will go down by if you scrap the 5 levies. That is quite significant reduction if the government decides to scrap. 25.44% fuel prices will decrease by if they get their wish. They've been in a meeting. We're going to ask them if they got their wish. Let's see, because if they get their wish, we all benefit. We all benefit. And that is why today, even for the private, commuters who were stranded, you talk to them and they say, yeah, we still support the drivers. It's amazing. They were stranded. Some of them were walking long miles to work. You ask them, do you understand? Do you empathize? They say, yeah, we understand. We support the drivers. It's amazing, right? I mean, they're in pain and the drivers are causing them the pain, but they support the driver's action. And they believe it will yield some results. We're going to find out if it did. Now, but if you look at what you pay at the pump, look at all the raft of taxes that you are paying. That's why the fuel prices are so much. In addition, obviously, to crude oil prices, in addition to the foreign, forex and exchange, the issue with our currency and depreciation, etc. These are the additional issues here. And many say this is what is within the purview of government to control. Government doesn't control the world crude market of the world market of the world prices of crude. Government doesn't control that. Government has a very little control over the exchange forex issues as well, right? If you run the economy well, of course, it has an impact on the forex situation, right? Your exchange rate situation. But largely, we've seen how exchange rates don't react to government policy in this country. But these levies government can do a lot about because it's by policy. And it's a lot of them. Just 2 cedi, 90 pesos. 2 cedi, 90 pesos. If you put all of them together, that's how much you are paying. Government says you need this. If you look at the 2018 to 2021, this is 1st of December window. You're looking at the amount you pay as taxes per liter of petroleum in Ghana. If you look at this, 2018, you were paying 1 cedi 97 pesos. 2019, based on the taxes alone, right? You're paying 2 cedi 39 pesos. 2020, 2 cedi 4 pesos. It came down a bit. 2021. Well, and this is interesting here because you were wondering, 2019, the taxes alone were giving us a bit more and then dropped because something happened because of all the COVID, etc. We had, some adjustments that brought it down. And then 2021 is gone back up to 2 cedi 90 pesos. So the taxes have been there for so long and has been a biting issue. If you look at the trend, the average prices trend in Ghana, it's consistently been going up since 2015. It's gone up. We had the drop again in 2020. Obviously, crude prices on the world market collapsed. So that accounted for this because of COVID. 2021 is back up high there. And we're talking about 6.8 per liter now, December. You see the 2021 again. 2021 has been one of those extraordinary years in terms of fuel prices, right? The highest you've seen in a long, long time. Since the year began, since January, it's been amazing in terms of where we are right now. This is a lot. And many say if the world prices behave the way it's been projected to behave, we're probably going to hit the 7 cedi a liter mark very soon. Now, increasing fuel prices. This is the story, right? In January to December, we have had 39.92% increase in fuel prices. That is astonishing. Within 12 months, the increases alone has amounted to 39. This is 40%. 40% jump in what it used to be in December to what it used now. There's been a 40% jump. That's huge. I'm doing all this so you begin to appreciate why the drivers did what they did today, right? And what it would take for them to say indefinitely call off the strike because they've suspended it. Thankfully, they just finished the meeting with the government and you're going to get a first exclusive result and outcome here on PM Express. This is what we do on the show. When the day is over, we bring you the very latest that's happened. I'm delighted to see the GPRT is joining us. They've just come out of that meeting. They'll be telling us whether they got good news. Stay with me for that after the break. And thank you very much for joining us here on PM Express. Of course, it's been a day of pain for many of you. Even tonight, even after the strike was suspended, just around midday, many of you heading home still experience challenges. Why? Because many of the drivers had already parked their cars. They were not expecting this to end today. So you got to your mini terminals and you realized that the cars were there, but there were not as many. And so a lot of you still had to struggle to get transport back home. And there were reports all across the country. The evening rush hour was very difficult for you. Hopefully, you understand now why this happened. But government intervened. That's why there was a suspension. That's why you got some reprieve going home than you had this morning. They called the transport unions into a meeting. It's been going on since 4 p.m. And so you can do the math. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's been 5 hours. The meeting just ended, and I'm delighted to say that the GPLTU spokesperson is in the studio with me, Mr. Abbas Imoro, who literally just drove from that meeting to PM Express so he can update you, because it's critical that we do this, because tomorrow morning, many of you are wondering, are you going to face the same problem as you did today? He's in the studio with me. Thank you very much, Mr. Imoro Abbas, for your time.
Thank you for having me too.
Also joining me is the National Petroleum Authority's communications manager, Mohammed Abdul Kudus. Abdul Kudus, thank you also for joining me here on PM Express. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Why MPA? For obvious reasons. When it comes to, they regulate the petroleum space. You know, when they issue about the freezing of some of the taxes, they issued a statement. So they understand a lot about the build-up, the price build-up, and I wonder if more can be done. You know, so we'll get to talk to him shortly. Kojo Poku is an energy analyst and joins us via Zoom tonight. He has a very interesting point of view on this. He was on this show a few weeks back when the GPLTU announced that they will be embarking on this action. They suspended it. It happened today. I wonder now that whether his views may have changed since the last time we spoke. Kojo Poku, always a delight talking to you. We'll be joined shortly by the chairman of the Transport Committee in Parliament, Kennedy Osenyako, also pretty soon. But let me start with you, Mr. Imoro Abbas. There's only one place to start. The meeting happened?
Yes, it did.
Okay. What was the outcome of that meeting?
Let me correct one thing, then we'll move on.
Okay, sure.
The 5 items we presented, we shall replace the road fund with special petroleum tax.
Special petroleum tax.
Which is 46 pesos on the liter.
On the liter, okay.
So your
introduction?
Your introduction or analysis will almost be the same. Yeah, but that's the only thing we want to change. Okay. Yeah. As you said, yes. A hungry man is an angry man.
Yeah.
Out of suffering, we went through so many things. As you said, we suspended the strike intentions. Whenever we are being confronted with a sweet words, we normally accept. Because, you know, in Ghana, we are brought up in such a way that we respect our elders. Even if a minister or a deputy minister, how young as it will be, due to the position, we have to respect that person's, whatever that person says. Well, we went through all this, and finally, the cat went out of the basket. That was today, because if you remember, from Tuesday, we asked our people to put red bands around their vehicles to indicate how serious we are, and I think we weren't treated seriously, hence our decision today. Fortunately for all of us, this is the word I will use, the president steps in, that he's pleading with us. Yes, we might have our reasons for embarking on this strike. We should suspend it so that this afternoon we come for a dialogue or a solution of that particular issues that we are having. We did. In the morning, we asked our people to suspend the suspension and the strike action, of which we did. Some of our people says, after all, we don't have leave days in our business, so they will consider today as a very holy day to take their leave. So although, because most of the people, the vehicle belongs to some people whom they are working with. And if you pick the vehicle, you have to make the daily sales. So since almost the day is gone, they decide not to pick the vehicle today. They will start a full work.
So that is what explains what happened at 5 p.m. when people closed somewhere.
Yes.
Because they already didn't go for the vehicle, so it was too late.
Because if you pick the vehicle, you have to render the daily sales. So this is how come most of the people decides not to work. And some of them also want to show solidarity with the bold decision taken. So although they park their vehicles, they decide not to work for the day. So hopefully tomorrow everybody will resume work as we normally do.
Okay, so that leads me to the first question.
Yeah.
You are asking people to go back fully tomorrow.
Yes.
That's what happened in the meeting. What was the outcome of the meeting?
Yes, we were at the meeting and government officials were there. Well, the transport minister tabled our grievances, the petition we've written to him and what went on up to today. And finally, what they did was, yes, they have to see how best they could rectify the issue. And they told us that, yes, the taxes that we are looking for, the total scrapping must have to go through Parliament for approval or any other thing that the parliamentarians will decide. So in the interim, they will start with using oil, since that is the only oil company that they have control over, to start reducing the prices for us. And they even promise, effective from tomorrow, oil will start reducing so that they will force the other oil marketing companies also, because if you have more higher price, nobody will patronize your products. So after lengthy discussions, this is what we arrive at, and we have to put down some conditions that, well, we want to take your words, but should there be any upward adjustment in their prices, then maybe we have to reassemble and see how best we can. After all, it is the current fuel prices that we are looking at. And we'll research and find out that some of the taxes could be reduced for us, whereby it will alleviate us from the current suffering situation in which we are. So if there is any method which could all the same reduce the prices for us, why not? Because we are aware that most of these taxes went through Parliament for approval before they came into existence. So we know very well that definitely it must go through Parliament, and they promise that somewhere mid-year budget, they'll try to see if not all, but if they could do something about some of the taxes for us.
Did they say which of the taxes?
No, they promised to steady whichever ones that, but meanwhile, they promised to make sure they will use oil to reduce the prices.
Oil will reduce prices?
Yes, this is what we were told, that this is what they are going to do immediately, so that we can at least be relieved of some of the problems we are having.
Okay. Do you know how much reduction you're going to see at oil?
It wasn't specific, but they said they can't do everything at a go. They will start, effective from tomorrow, they will start reducing so that it won't go up. You realize, even you demonstrated it from January up to December, almost about 40%.
Yeah.
We got 39.2 or so. It's almost 40.
39.92.
Yes, almost 40% increment. Should we keep quiet? Should we continue to suffer through that? I mean, you can imagine what will happen. So if there is any promise that, yes, we are going to start with this, effective from tomorrow, why not? So we accepted it in good faith. That, well, our people will see what the leadership have done for them. After all, after going through the strike and the suffering that we've been through, something really has started to reduce the pains that we have.
So what it means that from tomorrow, you are going to tell all your members to start buying from oil?
Well, we won't advertise for oil.
Okay.
Because everybody with where he or she wants to buy his products. But to be honest with you, I buy from Goyle, Shell, or Total.
Yeah, last time you said it.
Yes, that is where I buy my products.
Because of the quality.
Because of the quality that I have experienced. And most of our people have also observed same. So we are not here to advertise for any OMC. But the understanding we had is, if Goyle starts reducing their product, automatically others because they are in a competitive.
So is this reduction that GOIL is expected to do from tomorrow only for commercial drivers or for?
No, for all. After all, we are not fighting for only commercial drivers. Okay. It's just that others having understandings.
I mean, I was thinking maybe they'll say if you go to GOIL, they will sell for you cheaper. But if you drive a private car, then they'll give you.
No, I can say I buy from GOIL because I've observed they have quality products.
But in that meeting,
but I don't want to advertise.
Yes, I get it.
Here, I mean, but
this is simply a case of what the meeting decided, and the meeting says GOIL will reduce because government has
to force others also to follow suit. Yeah. This is how. Okay. Came about, so
okay, but you didn't tell you by how much reduction you expecting?
No. We did not agree specifically because we were promised that they will do it gradually. Okay. Of which we are saying that yes, the current trend of which the fuel prices are going up is just too much for us. So if there's any way of reducing it, of which we know if we insist that yes, the taxes must go, it won't be immediate problem, and we wouldn't know how it will get to before maybe they will send some of these taxes to Parliament for approval, and we don't know how much it will take. So we are looking for
an immediate relief, which is what the GOIL is going to do. Yes. So just to clarify, and for those who are just joining us, the result of the meeting is one, immediately GOIL will reduce their prices.
Yes.
And for the purpose of providing immediate relief for drivers.
Yes.
With the hope that once GOIL does that, it will force others, because there's a competition, to also bring it down.
Yes.
And of course, then drivers who then, of course, have to benefit because you know where the government control is, it has a huge stake. So that's immediate relief. GOIL is going to go down, and there you go. Secondly, government commits to, in the mid-year budget review, between now and then, they will study which of the taxes they can scrap, and then they'll put it in the mid-year budget review for Parliament to consider. So what you're saying is that government had committed to review some of the taxes in the mid-year budget review. That's their position, and Parliament will have to look. So there are two main things I see from the meeting. One is immediate reduction in GOIL's prices at the pump. And then two, a mid-year budget that will review some of the taxes on petroleum. Okay, and you're happy with that?
We are okay with it.
Okay, so tomorrow...
So we are asking our people to resume fully. At least something is going to be done on our request. So, well, we are okay with it because we are looking for reduction. And if there is any immediate way of reducing, why not? Why not?
Okay. So for all your members who are watching you tonight, directly tell them, so what's the communication to them after the meeting?
You've been fortunate to have me as the first.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we are pleading with them that, yes, it's all about the suffering that we are going through. So if there has been any package of relieving us from the current situation, why not? We are asking them, yes, tomorrow, let's see how best we can all manage and move the country forward. If that doesn't happen, of course, we'll assemble ourselves and see how best we could solve the problem.
In other words, if the fuel prices at GOIL doesn't go down the way you promised, then you can...
Then, yes, of course. Yes, of course. This is what we'll do.
Thank you, Mr. Muraba. Stay with me. And let me bring in Kojo Poku on this. Mr. Poku, so you've heard now, we've had the full brief from that meeting, a meeting that took 4 hours. Your reaction to what you've just heard there? Kindly unmute for me if you've muted, because I can't hear you. Please unmute for me.
Oh, yeah. Evans, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like my brother said, they are fighting for everybody. So they are not only fighting for themselves. But this is something that the likes of me and other CSOs have said that, well, for me, I'm disappointed in them from the beginning. GOIL should have been the flagship in this deregulation, where they would not be the one to start increasing prices the minute the window starts. You remember 2 weeks ago, GOIL went up to 699. And for no reason, I think 2 days later, we now saw them come to 685. This pricing thing, I said to you the last time that there are other companies that are offering a much cheaper fuel and is of the same quality as the big three or the big four. Some people prefer to use Guel. It's like you saying that, look, I want to buy Gucci. Instead of buying ordinary clothes, you buy designer stuff. You pay for designer prices. But if you want diesel and it's of good quality, every diesel in every filling station is of the same quality, because we pay 5 pesos a liter in the marking margin to make sure that there is a marker in the fuel which guarantees us the same quality, which MPA have their people monitoring all the time. But if Guel has now yielded to the call of the people and they would play the role that they are supposed to play, then it's good news. Because I personally have never seen the sense in what Guel does, where they are always the first to increase prices and be the most expensive across the country, when we all know that in the dealers and marketers margin, there is room where Guel can be less than most of the companies, the other OMCs. So if Guel wants to come back and play that role that Ghanaians expect them to play, it is good news. But for me, the prices are already coming down. In this coming window, we are supposed to see between 10 to 15% reduction. They are at 6.85 now. And what you see is that if another 10% is to come down, we would basically be around maybe 6.7 thereabout. So you might see other filling stations also doing maybe 6.5. Okay, so the range will be between 6.5 and 670 in the next window. And I think that should be comfortable for most people that wanted about 40% to 50% reduction when the price got to 690.
So there you have it. So you believe that this directive to Guel now to reduce is a fair thing. It's a fair, sensible thing to do in reaction to the transport operators.
Well, I don't think it should have been a directive. Well, that's why I'm saying that I have never seen sense in what Guel does.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take the government to direct Guel to do that. Guel should have done this
by themselves. By themselves.
Ghanaian company.
I mean, but let me ask you this though. But let me ask you from what let me ask you. But from what we're hearing from the government is now going to make sure government is stepping in to get them to do that. Does government have that say in terms of directing Guel for the purposes of pricing to reduce? Just clarify for me.
Government is the 60% shareholder of Guel.
Okay.
Me and you are 60% shareholder of Guel. So when Guel makes money, they give dividends to their shareholders. Now, because they have a 40% listing, where there are other companies that have bought shares in Guel, they make it look like, oh, Guel is a listed company, so they do what they want. When Guel reduces prices, it doesn't mean Guel will not make money. Look, I have been campaigning and been saying that government should cap the dealers and marketers margin. If the marketers and dealers margin are capped at 40 pesos a liter, Evans, we do 4 billion liters a year of both diesel and all oil products, basically both diesel and petrol. We do 4 billion liters a year. You multiply that by 40 pesos, that is 1.6 billion Ghana cedis that is shared among the OMCs just for their dealers and marketers margin. Which business in Ghana has such high margins in terms of profit that can go towards your cost? Some people are barely making a living with what they sell. So if Guel runs efficiently, which they don't, okay, and they come out and say that, oh, we are a listed company, so we can't do this, we can't do that. We Ghanaians own 40%. We're the majority shareholder of that company. So if they pay dividends to government, government can tell them that, look, reduce the prices and use our dividends to offset it. And why not? It is our money.
Stay with me. Let me bring in Kudus with the MPA. Kudus, so you just heard there. Let's first start your quick reaction to the Guel angle to this and the outcome of that meeting that we, in essence, see government intervention lead to Gulf fuel prices going down. Your quick reaction to that from the MPA's point of view?
Let me say good evening to you. Good evening to my colleagues on your show, and good evening to Ghanaians who are watching. Before I get to that, I think that it is only worthy to commend government and the president, particularly for arresting the issue that we saw this morning. I monitored a lot of media houses, and the scene that I saw were not actually palatable at all. They were so chaotic, and the situation was so bad that if it had actually driven further into the day, we all can imagine how much toll it would have had on productivity generally and GDP particularly. So I think that we ought to be commending government for arresting the situation. Be that as it may, it appears that, okay, so it's like a temporary measure. And like we heard from our brother from GPRTU, there is a directive going to be towards Boyle to reduce prices. I'm not too sure how it is going to be done. It doesn't fall within us at MPA to have that particular discussion. What we do primarily is always to determine the prices per a window, the price beyond which they are not supposed to price. So if they are coming down where their margins and mathematics would allow them to come, I think it's going to be a good news for everybody who would be buying from them. But let me say this, and Evans, I want to repeat it with emphasis. All fuels sold at all pumps are of quality and good standard till MPA says otherwise. And I think we ought to be getting this. It appears that there is a certain conservative attachment to some outlets, and it is not making us to get the bigger and fuller benefit that is expected of the deregulation as a policy. Because the competitiveness that we are expecting to be seeing doesn't appear to be the order of the day, much more because there's a certain attachment to some outlets other than patronizing from all of the other outlets out there. And like I said, till MPA says so, and where MPA detects it, we actually close down that particular station and it doesn't go on to dispense. So once a fuel station is out there dispensing, the presumption must be that the fuel that is being sold are of quality and a good standard.
Okay. Quickly, the second point. The second point is really within your domain, that government has committed to review some of the taxes in a mid-year budget statement that's going to come next year, thereabout. What's your reaction to that too?
Evans, as we all are aware, the role of MPA is clear-cut. We are a regulatory body. We don't determine the taxes, okay? Obviously, we probably would be having backroom discussions to where we try to analyze which particular tax or which particular levy can be incurred away to what can actually be done to bring a certain relief to the consumer. But it is what it is, an advice. And so when you are going to have a discussion, advise government, it is not proper to want to come and put that in the public domain. So as much as possible, I know that going forward, government would engage us, would all look at the figures. We probably try to advise what can be done at what particular point or on what particular levy or margin, and then probably ultimately would all drive this. But I think ultimately has to do with what is happening on the global market. And as we all are monitoring, it doesn't appear to be too good.
No, I mean, but Kudus, that is not entirely accurate. I mean, we just did a demonstration there of the taxes that more than almost 3 cedi a litre on the fuel is what the taxes alone take. So the world price will not have no control. So don't let us bring that into a conversation. We're talking about what you can do. Almost 3 cedi is a lot, and government can do a lot on that, which is the assurance they give the transport operators that they'll look into it for a possible review in a mid-year budget review. I mean, definitely the MPA will have an input. If government is committed to that, you have an input in terms of which of these taxes possibly can go.
Because I was trying to contextualize the discussion, okay? Doing your analysis, the time that you actually projected, you realize that what has been the constant change, okay, apart from probably the FX, has been the crude prices, not the taxes, not the levies. In fact, one of the levies have actually been taken out, but still we are not feeling the impact as was expected. That is why I said that the driver in this particular instance, apart from probably the Forex, you are looking at the global crude prices. I agree with you that when a tinkering or reduction is actually brought onto the margins, the levies, or the tax, we probably would be seeing a certain relief. That is a given, and it is something that nobody would contest. But I was actually taking the discussion to another level, okay? That even if the taxes are reduced or scrapped, and the world crude prices does not get arrested and increase with the rate at which it does, we probably will not even feel the significance of the reduction that might come out of the discussion that GPRTU or the transport owners have had with government. So I'm only looking at the bigger picture. I'm not discounting the reduction and its effects on ex-pump price. That's not what I'm doing at all.
Okay.
I was only trying to take the discussion to another level. Obviously, there has been a discussion. Like I said, I'm thankful to those who engineered the discussion. I say thank you to the transport unions for also allowing themselves to the discussion table, and cool heads ultimately prevailed, and a lot of people actually got to go to their work, albeit with some difficulties. But like I said, I'm with you, and I don't think that it is something that we all can at this point, when the numbers are clear.
Yeah. Let me bring in the chairman of the Transport Committee in Parliament, Mr. Senyako, who is also just joining us via phone on the development today. If you're just joining us, by the way, GPLTU, I'll come back to Mr. Muraba shortly, has confirmed to us a short while ago that they've had an agreement with government. It was a successful meeting on the back of today's strike that led many of you stranded. Two main things have been agreed. One, the government will intervene to get GOIL to immediately reduce its prices at the pumps. That's as early as tomorrow you begin to see this play out. And two, government has committed to review some of the taxes on petrol and petroleum, on the petroleum products at the pumps in the mid-year budget review, which will be read next year, mid-year. So those are the two main takeaways. And the GPL2 says, well, on the back of that, they are asking all their members to resume work fully tomorrow morning. Mr. Senyako, thank you very much for joining us. That is the outcome of the meeting. GPL2 just confirmed that to us. Your reaction to both outcomes?
Ivan, thanks for having me. I think it is a good news. I have been following the discussions since the presidency invited the transport union for such a roundtable discussion. First of all, I have to also thank the president. He has indeed shown that he's a listening president for calling the transport unions to be able to suspend their strike to come for a roundtable discussion. And one of the issues that have come up is government taking the decision that GOIL should reduce their prices of their petroleum products on their pumps and their various pumps across the country by tomorrow morning. I will not be surprised that they will be taking off about 15 pesos per liter on each of the products that they sell. That is what I envisage. That's the information that I'm getting. So I will not be surprised that it will drop to maybe about 6.7 thereabout tomorrow morning. And I think it is a good sign, the good faith that the government has shown to the people, to the plight of the not only commercial transport owners, but to everybody who owns a vehicle, because this reduction is not only going to affect commercial transport owners, but it's also going to affect everybody who owns a vehicle. So I think it's something good, but like we said, we are looking at the long-term solution, which government also have shown commitment that government want to look at some of the taxes. It cannot be immediate. Even before Parliament has to go through amending the laws, it will take some time. So government has given itself up to the mid-year budget review next year to be able to deal with some of the taxes that we think that is nuisance or can be taken out to also give them more relief. But the most important that let's appreciate what the gesture the president have shown. He has indeed shown that he's father for all. He has indeed shown that he's a listening president, and he has been able to prevail on oil to be able to. And I'm sure if oil tomorrow morning they are able to reduce their prices to 6.7 per liter, I'm sure most of the other OMCs should also take a cue, because definitely if GOI is doing that, then to have a ripple effect on the others to also follow suit, because if they don't follow suit, it means they are going to lose the market, and that is what we are looking at. So I think it's a very good thing, but in all this discussion, I was a little bit disappointed that the Transport Union did not even petition our committee. All the petitions that they sent it to the ministry without even informing or sending us a copy, getting us involved so that we could have also take part in the negotiation and discussion with both the ministry and the government. They didn't. But I think where we have gotten to now, there is some form of a result that is coming out. So for that one, we need to appreciate it. But I also thank the transport union, the various transport union, for also taking the decision in suspending their strike. I think it is something, it's a good gesture that they've shown. They've shown that they indeed love the people of this country. They've shown that they are with the people. Though I know there are certain things that might have driven their actions, but the fact that they took the decision to suspend, looking at the situation that we all engaged or witnessed in the morning, and for them to come out to say that we have suspended it, it's something that I think we have to commend them for.
Yeah. Let me quickly get some clarity on the numbers that you are expecting based on your own intelligence from this meeting. So you say you expect GOIL to reduce the prices at the pumps by 15 pesos, you said?
Yes, it should go to about 60, 70 pesos. I'm not expecting anything less than that.
Okay, 60, 70 pesos.
Yes.
Okay. That means they are taking off how many pesos? You think it's 15 pesos, is it?
Yes, because now it is 60, 85 pesos. So if they are bringing it to 60, 70 pesos, then it means they are taking about 15 pesos off per liter.
Okay. So that's what your own briefing is indicating.
That is what I am looking at. The information that I'm getting. If everything is concluded, then that is how they are going to do it.
Okay. Mr. Abbas, what's your reaction to that? I mean, there's some specific numbers there. I actually...
Well, there wasn't specific, but all we are...
I mean, he's the chairman of the committee, so he may have some information that we don't. I mean, he said that in briefing. But if that's there... We
were assured that effective from tomorrow, we'll see some reductions. So let's hope what he says...
So if it's 60, 70 pesos, is it okay?
Well, we were told it wouldn't be all that we are looking for at a go. It will be a gradual process. All that we are saying, we wouldn't want to experience where the prices will start climbing up. If we start experiencing the reduction in it, meaning the government have started. I mean, we have to keep, yes. So this is all that we are looking for. I thank him also, everybody who support us to come to this.
You didn't bring your petition to them. He was hoping that you would have brought your petition to Parliament.
Well, we started somewhere from the transport minister. So it is not too late. We are just hoping if he has anything to do for us, he should make sure the reduction continues. So we thank him for coming up with this suggestion. But he should also help us by helping so that the prices keep reducing, as he has said. We will be very, very much happy. Anybody at all who helps in this struggle. We also thank the general public for what they went through and still supporting us. That yes, I think we have that right as citizens to speak out of anything affecting our driving industry. We thank them and we plead with anybody who might have been affected with our day strike that, well, they should still patronize our services.
Okay. Mr. Poku, let me bring you in. So, based on the chairman of the Transport Committee's information, gold is going to go down. He doesn't expect anything, above 6.7, 6 cedis, 70 pesos. Is that enough, or you believe gold can do more?
Well, let me correct something you said earlier, Evans. The price build-up in terms of taxes and margins is 2.20. It's not up to 3 cedis.
No, it's not.
It's about 2 cedis, 20 pesos.
No, you are right. It's not up to 3 cedis. I was just saying it's almost 3 cedis. I mean, not up to 3 cedis. Definitely not.
No, but if you do that, then you are being a bit mischievous, Evans. It's not up to 3 cedis.
It's not.
It's on the lower part of 250, so say 2 cedis. Okay, now let me answer your question. Yeah. Well, I don't know what gold would do, but I have always said that, look, if nothing even has happened in this window, we were going to get about 10% reduction because the world market prices has come down when the Omicron virus was announced. There was a bit of a shift in prices, and it has not recovered to the highs that we saw about 2 weeks ago. So we are hoping that even if nothing happened, there should have been a 10, 15%. What government should take very serious, and we keep repeating this, they should look at capping the marketers' margin. If they don't do that, the marketers are gradually going to eat into the margin. Now that they're going to use gold to play the role that all of us have been calling gold to play that role, then it will be difficult for the other companies to bring up their margin because then they will have to compete with gold. Now, what you will see is that the likes of the smaller companies.
I think I may have, his feed would have frozen there. But let me quickly go to Kudus for quick thoughts on this. Kudus, so as far as you're concerned at the MPA, you are MPA, but you're also affected by the 4 prices. 6 CD, 70 pesos at least minimum is a good thing, is it not?
Absolutely. Anything that drives the price down obviously must be good to everybody, including myself. But, I think that, like I stated earlier on, part of the reason for deregulation is to really get the consumer to be sensitive to prices. It appears that a lot of the time when we're discussing, we're mentioning those with the higher prices. There are those who are selling currently around 6.4, 6.5. But you see, when the discussion is driven to suggest that quality means buying from specific OMCs, then the impact for which we should be driving from deregulation would completely be lost. I mean, and that is what I was emphasizing.
You raise a very important point, actually. So, which means that if somebody is selling it for 6.4, 6.5, gold can do far more than 6.7.
I would not want to speak to that because, okay,
I know you are the regulator. You can't. I mean, I'm just reading into what she said there. So allow me to do that.
Obviously,
but you raise a very important point.
Saying that there are the ingredients that actually determines the prices vary from one OMC to the other. But it is not all OMCs that have dealers, for example. So where the dealer's margin is not going to be part of the price build-up, you certainly should not be expecting same formula as the one with the dealer. But you see,
Kudu, forgive me because of time, but let me ask you a quick question because of time, and I get Mr. Nyaku's quick thought. Mr. Kojopoku has been saying the margins, some interventions needed there to try and reduce that. Do you agree?
You see, we need to be careful. Okay, the demands that we make, we also must be minded by the possible consequences. Mind you, fuel is such a strategic a product that we would need at all times. And so as much as possible, we should be making the industry that lucrative and attractive for people to want to bring their investment inside. If we tighten it, minded so much by the reduction that we are all calling for, we might drive ourselves to a point where people will not find it attractive and businesses will not come and invest there. And the repercussion might even be more dire than it is today.
I think I get your point. I get your point. Your point is that the capping, it's not the way to go. I think that's the point you're making, right?
Not categorically, but I'm only saying that let's be mindful of the demands that we make.
Okay.
Thank you. We're actually in a catch-22 situation.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kudos, because of time.
That are calling for.
Because of time, Kudos, I'm grateful. Mr. Senyako, thank you also for that quick brief. But in 30 seconds, the Transport Union said they are open to you. Proactively going forward, would you be reaching out at all?
Well, definitely we are in it together, and so whatever issue that affects them also affects the committee. So definitely, even though he has stated that he dealt with the ministry, I will be happy if they can send a copy of their petition to us so that I can look at exactly what it is, what are in it, then I will also table it wherever I have to table it.
Okay, Mr. Nyako, I'm grateful. You do that, right? You send it to them. He says they also want to hear.
Requested for.
You send.
We are looking for solution to our problem. Yeah. So he's in the parliament if he's ready.
Thank you very much. So tomorrow all your drivers are back?
Yeah, we are appealing all of us to resume work. And we thank the general public for
their patience,
and supporting us in terms of this fight, the struggle we went through.
Okay.
We thank everyone.
Thank you, Abasimuro, for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Tomorrow you're back at work without stress at the terminals.